Your baby wakes up every day carrying needs they cannot name. Not just the need to be fed, changed, held, and put to sleep, but the need to feel emotionally safe, emotionally read, emotionally settled, and emotionally returned to. That is what makes infancy so easy to misunderstand. The biggest needs your baby carries are often not the loudest ones. They are not always the ones that make the most noise or create the most obvious problem in the room. Very often, they live underneath the surface, inside the way your baby is held, answered, soothed, looked at, and moved through the day. And once you learn to see those needs clearly, some of the smallest moments in parenting begin to feel enormous. The deepest needs babies carry are often the ones they have no words for. Need 1, the need to feel warmly received, not just handled. The first silent need your baby carries every day is the need to feel warmly received, not just handled. A baby does not only need your hands, they need the emotional feeling of being welcomed into your care. There is a difference between being picked up and being received, between being fed and being gathered in, between being changed and being met with softness while it happens. From the outside, 2 caregiving moments can look almost identical, but to a baby, they can feel completely different. Babies notice the face that comes toward them, the voice that greets them, the pace of the body holding them, and the emotional atmosphere wrapped around ordinary care. When care becomes too mechanical, a baby may still be well looked after physically while feeling less deeply held emotionally. Personally, I think this is one of the quietest truths in parenting. Babies do not only need care to happen, they need to feel the warmth inside it. Need 2, the need to borrow calm from someone bigger. The second need is the need to borrow calm from someone bigger. Babies are not built to manage their inner storms alone, at least not well, and not yet. They carry a daily need for a more regulated nervous system to help organize their own. That is why the state of the adult matters so much. Your baby is not only being soothed by what you do, your baby is also being shaped by how it feels to be with you while you do it. A calm voice, a slower body, steadier hands, a face that says, "I can hold this." These things are not small. They are often the bridge back to safety. Before babies can calm themselves, they need someone whose calm can hold them. Personally, I think many parents underestimate how often a baby is not asking to be fixed, but to be steadied. And that is an important difference, because one invites technique, while the other invites presence. Need 3, the need to feel that their signals change the world around them. The third silent need your baby carries is the need to feel that their signals matter. Babies do not only cry because something is wrong. They also look, reach, babble, fuss, brighten, still themselves, and turn toward the people around them as a way of saying, "I am here. Does anything in the world move when I speak in my language?" That is why responsive parenting is so powerful. When a baby signals and somebody answers, with eye contact, with touch, with words, with a face that comes alive, the baby is not only getting help in the moment, the baby is learning something deeper. My signals reach people, and my experience changes what happens next. One of a baby's deepest silent needs is to feel that their signals matter. It does not require perfection. It requires enough real, repeated response that the baby keeps learning again and again that they are not alone inside their own experience. Need 4, the need to be read correctly before distress gets loud. The fourth need is the need to be read correctly before distress gets loud. Many babies do not begin in distress. They begin in signals, a look away, a stiffening body. a strange quietness, a small fuss, a shift in tone, a reaching motion, a loss of eye contact. These are often the earlier, softer versions of what later becomes crying, overwhelm, or full dysregulation. But when those quieter signals keep being missed, babies often have only one choice left. They increase the volume. That is why some of the loudest moments in babyhood are not actually the beginning of the problem. They are the late stage of a message that tried to arrive gently first. Many babies do not begin in distress. They begin in signals. And I think this is one of the most painful misunderstandings in parenting, because a baby who feels underread can end up looking overreactive. What looks like too much is sometimes just a message that had to come back louder to survive being missed. Need 5. The need for predictable emotional rhythm. The 5th need your baby carries every day is the need for predictable emotional rhythm. Not rigid control, not robotic scheduling, but a world that feels readable enough to trust. Babies settle more deeply when life has some recognizable shape to it. Familiar tones, familiar transitions, familiar ways of being comforted, familiar returns after separation, familiar rhythms around sleep, feeding, and connection. Predictability helps the nervous system stop scanning so hard. It reduces the emotional cost of being alive in a world that is still brand new and often overwhelming. When everything feels too abrupt, too inconsistent, too flooded, babies may become more watchful, more fragile, or harder to settle because the emotional environment keeps changing shape underneath them. Babies settle more deeply when life feels readable enough to trust. And honestly, I think one of the kindest things a parent can give a baby is not constant stimulation or constant intensity, but a rhythm that says, "This world may be big, but it is not impossible to live inside." Need 6. The need for reassurance without shame. The 6th silent need your baby carries every day is the need for reassurance without shame. Babies reach for comfort over and over again, not because they are weak, manipulative, or trying to run the room, but because closeness is one of the only ways they know how to find safety. They need to be held again. They need the same soothing again. They need your body, your voice, your rhythm, your return. And what makes this need so delicate is that babies can begin to feel the emotional meaning around it long before they understand anything in words. If reassurance is given with warmth, they learn that comfort is available. If it is given with tension, irritation, or the feeling that they are somehow too much, they may begin to carry something heavier, the sense that their need for closeness is already a problem. Babies need to feel they can reach for comfort without becoming a burden. To me, that is one of the deepest emotional mercies a parent can offer in the early years. Need 7. The need for gentle emotional bridging during separation. The 7th need your baby carries is the need for gentle emotional bridging during separation. Babies do not only experience separation as a logistical event, they experience it in the body. In the sudden absence of the familiar face, the familiar arms, the familiar rhythm that had been helping the world make sense. That is why the way a parent leaves can matter almost as much as the fact that they come back. A rushed handoff, an abrupt goodbye, or a departure full of the adult's own anxiety can feel much harsher than intended. Babies often need the leaving to make emotional sense. A steady face, a repeated ritual, a familiar phrase, a tone that says, yes, this is a transition, but it is not the end of safety. This is not about never going anywhere. It is about helping the nervous system cross the gap more gently. A baby does not only need you to come back, they need the leaving to make emotional sense. And I think adults often underestimate how much tenderness can live inside a well-handled goodbye. Need 8, the need for quiet, not just stimulation. The 8th silent need your baby carries is the need for quiet, not just stimulation. Modern life makes this need easy to miss because stimulation looks so useful. A toy, a sound, a screen, a movement, a distraction, a new thing to hold the baby's attention for another minute. And of course, stimulation is not inherently bad. Babies are curious, sensory, alert, and alive to the world. But a baby can be constantly occupied and still feel strangely underconnected. They can be entertained and still not feel settled. Because stimulation is not the same thing as emotional holding. Babies also need lower intensity moments, quiet rhythm, face-to-face presence, a slower room, a body beside them that is not asking them to absorb more, but allowing them to soften. A baby does not only need to be occupied, they need to feel settled. Personally, I think one of the hidden problems of modern parenting is that babies can be constantly stimulated and still feel oddly underloved in the moments that matter most, because what they needed was not more input, but more peace. Need 9, the need to be genuinely enjoyed in ordinary moments. The 9th need your baby carries every day is the need to be genuinely enjoyed in ordinary moments. Not only when they smile beautifully, hit a milestone, do something funny, or become suddenly worth filming. Babies need more than competent care. They need to feel that their existence itself is a source of warmth, delight, and welcome to someone. And often the most powerful version of that delight does not happen in the big moments. It happens in the sleepy cuddle, the messy feeding, the quiet stare, the ordinary diaper change, the fussy afternoon when nothing cute is happening and nothing is being performed. Shared delight is a kind of emotional nutrition. It tells the baby something no speech could ever fully say. You are not only a responsibility in this room, you are a joy in it. Babies do not only need care, they need to feel that their very existence is a joy to someone. And honestly, I think some of the deepest attachment in the world is built not in the sparkling moments adults remember, but in the plain ones they almost miss. Need 10, the need for repair after misattunement. The 10th and perhaps most hopeful need your baby carries is the need for repair after misattunement. Because no parent stays perfectly attuned all day. You miss the cue, you use the wrong tone, you respond too late. You get tired, flooded, distracted, or emotionally thin. That part is human. What matters most is not the fantasy of never getting it wrong. It is whether connection knows how to come back. Babies do not need perfect emotional choreography. They need the experience of return, a face that softens again, a body that comes back, a moment that says, "We lost each other for a second, but you are not lost to me." One of a baby's deepest emotional needs is not perfection. It is the experience of connection returning. To me, this may be one of the most hopeful truths in parenting. Babies do not need flawless love. They need love that knows how to come back. And when that happens often enough, even imperfectly, trust begins to grow in places where fear could have taken root instead. So this is not really a video about making parenting heavier. It is about making parenting more awake. Babies carry emotional needs every single day that they cannot explain, defend, or ask us to notice in words. But they still live inside those needs in every ordinary interaction. They feel them in the way they are picked up, answered, soothed, left, welcomed back, delighted in, and brought through the day. And the beautiful thing is that these needs are not usually met through grand gestures. They are met through tiny, repeated moments of presence, warmth, rhythm, response, and return. Your baby does not need you to become perfect. Your baby needs you to become more fluent in the quiet, emotional language they have been speaking all along. The emotional life of a baby is built in moments most adults almost miss. And once you start seeing those moments clearly, ordinary care stops being ordinary. It becomes the place where love takes shape.